British family on a yacht cruise stumbled upon Site B.
Now it's only a matter of time before this lost world is found and pillaged.
Hey everyone, it's Jonathan and welcome to episode 3 of our Jurassic Park series on every version ever. Today Sam and I are talking about Steven Spielberg's The Lost World Jurassic Park, which for a long time was probably my favorite movie out of the trilogy. I think I've mentioned it in a previous episode, but for probably most of my teen years, after I watched these movies, for whatever reason, this one became a Christmas tradition for me. Not like a tradition where I watch this with my family every year. My family would have hated that. This was my own personal tradition, because I would get all the presents I bought for my family, set up a folding table in the basement, put in my Lost World VHS, and watch this movie while I wrapped my Christmas presents. Don't ask me why. I don't know why this became my Christmas tradition. Sometimes we just do things that make us happy for no reason, and for whatever reason, this movie was that for me. I say all that to say, I know a lot of people have issues with this movie, and I can see them more clearly now than when this was new to me, but I will never hate this movie. I love everything about it, from the T-Rex rampage to the gymnastics raptor takedown. This movie is just fun, and I've really been looking forward to talking about this one with Sam. I think I'm back to having the original Jurassic Park as my favorite, but for a long time I would say this was my favorite of all the Jurassic Park movies.
I don't think this one was ever my favorite, but I definitely enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. I know it's my mom's favorite, but yeah, of all the sequels to Jurassic Park, this one is definitely the most solid.
Yeah, I don't know what it was about this one, really, that I liked so much.
The extra dinosaurs. Probably.
Mm-hmm. And a bigger role for Parasaurolophus. Mm-hmm. Even though he didn't have much to do except get attacked.
Get caught. Which, have you ever tried to catch a cow?
No. Have you?
No, but I've been chased by cows. It should not have been that easy to catch that damn dinosaur. I don't care if it's a herbivore.
Yeah, there was a lot about that scene that could be questionable, but...
Well, the movie kind of goes at the speed of sound, so they really don't have time to explain the stuff, really. They just go with it.
I did not really ever occur to me, because I hadn't watched this in years, how quickly they move through this.
Yeah, I watched it last night, and I was just like, oh, damn, there really is no slowing down here. We are just... going right to it. We got it all set up. We got dinosaurs caught. I'm like, wow, this movie's just flying by. Yeah.
The way it got straight into it, there was a thing that I had read on Wikipedia about David Koepp writing it. He said that after it was announced, he started getting letters of advice from interested children.
Oh my God, that's adorable.
And he said... One letter read, "As long as you have the T-Rex and the Velociraptor, everything else is fine. But whatever you do, don't have a long, boring part at the beginning that has nothing to do with the island."
Well, he certainly...
And he says that he retained the letter as sort of a reminder.
Well, considering it opens with a little kid getting attacked by dinosaurs, I'd say that's pretty spot on.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that whole scene, I think they took that straight from the first book.
Yeah, they took it from the book. I mean... I'm pretty sure they say the little kid didn't die, so they didn't go hardcore, she didn't get killed. She just got mutilated, I guess.
Well, I don't think the kid in the first book died either. I don't think we mentioned her. There was a baby that died, but there was also a kid that was attacked.
I think that in the book they mention a lot of little kids were attacked. So I think I think you're right. I don't think any of them died. Mm-hmm. I don't remember. But yeah, the baby did. But yeah, this one in the Lost World movie, yeah, they mentioned that she was injured after being attacked by little compies.
Yes.
Feeding it some roast beef. I'm like, little spoiled girl, don't feed that.
The way I mean,
I would have done it too, though, so I mean, what am I now?
Yeah. The way that scene played out, when I was growing up, at one point, we had a cat who had kittens, who had kittens, who had kittens, and at one point I think we had over 30 cats.
Oh boy.
And that scene reminded me of when we would bring food out to the cats.
Get swarmed.
Yes.
And you know what? Those cats very well could have eaten you as well.
That never crossed my mind as a kid, otherwise I think I would have been freaked out. But No, but just the way they acted in a swarm, and like if you would toss one
like
chunk of
seagulls.
meat, they would swarm to
Yep.
the meat.
It's very accurate. Like if you did like seagulls or geese or something, that's exactly how they would react too.
Yeah,
Except they don't usually try to eat the person who's feeding them. But
thankfully.
uh-huh.
That would be a horror movie in and of itself.
I mean, kudos on the little girl for seeing what she assumed was a lizard and not being scared. Like maybe if she wouldn't have been viciously attacked, she could have grown up to be like a snake handler or something. But I don't think so.
They are kind of cute. The compies are kind of cute. So
Yep. I just laughed when I was rewatching it yesterday because the parents are just so pretentious. Darling,
Yes,
darling, sit down and eat your caviar or whatever they had. I'm like, this is so over the top.
I know. That never occurred to me when I was younger watching this. Like, only now, watching it now, I'm like, these are cartoon characters.
Yes, they are cartoon characters. And they're on a beach, like a random beach. Like, who docks on a random beach?
Yeah.
And, like, the yacht's out there. So they had to get on a dinghy and get rowed by, I assume, by their servants to a beach that I'm like, these people are rich enough. They own a beach. Like, unless they own this beach, but I doubt it. It's just, watching it last night, I'm like, oh my God, this is so cartoony. They are so, like, the little kid gets attacked, but they're so kind of pushing toward, like, children are going to be watching this, and this is how a cartoon would be.
Yeah, they don't ever actually
Cartoon rich
show
people.
anything. You just know what's happening.
You see the mom scream, and,
and
which is also very cartoony. It's a very horror
and the
movie.
way that they cut to Jeff Goldblum
Yawning.
as Ian Malcolm, like, what was with the way they cut that scene?
I guess this one definitely has a lot more humor in it. I think that was just one of those, and also I think they're trying to like start the movie on a high like the first one, which it's not nearly as dramatic as someone getting eaten by a raptor. But, and then they're cutting to Jeff Goldblum yawning, and it's just a funny kind of...
The way they cut it, I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, wait, was this a dream?
Yeah, that too, yeah. That PTSD we're not going to address that he should totally have.
It was just such a weird, just the mom screaming and then a smash cut to him yawning in front
Getting
of
on
a
the
poster
subway.
of palm trees.
Yeah, that looks like
It's so
he's in the jungle.
odd.
It's very on point for this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, again, I think Ian Malcolm is my favorite character. Like, I don't know how the book goes, but I'm glad they brought him back as the main character because he's my favorite in all of these.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum is just so charismatic. It's hard not to like him. Mm-hmm. He's just so himself.
Yeah. He really is. Like, he's different characters in all his different movies, but he's still Jeff Goldblum.
He's still Jeff Goldblum. I mean, you can watch him in, like, The Fly, and he's still got his little quirky... Of course, that whole movie's just... his own little quirky personality. And then, and, like, he's in, like, Thor, Ragnarok, and just, I don't know, just a tons of other movies. And he's had kind of a resurgence over the last few years where he's kind of been in more mainstream movies.
Wicked.
I haven't watched that, but I even know what you're talking about. Yeah. But yeah, then it opens to him going to see Hammond, who is just as old and delusional, and I assume dying. I don't know.
Apparently, they had a scene where they were going to have a funeral for him.
Oh, okay. So he was dying.
Like, they were supposed, like, I don't know, like, if they truly meant for him to be dying in this scene, but he's supposed to be old and...
I mean,
like,
he's hooked up to an IV, so something's going on.
The first time I watched this, well, all the times I watched this when I was a teenager, it never crossed my mind that he was dying. I just figured he was a rich old guy lounging in his bed.
Right, yeah. In his mansion as he's going bankrupt and his nephew is there. I assume it's his nephew.
Yes. His nephew has taken over the company.
Yeah. I mean, I like that he's so concerned about the dinosaurs. Like, it is kind of... It's not quite as much of a 180 as, like, the Jurassic World where Claire, the first movie, doesn't care about the dinosaurs. In the second movie, she's all about dinosaur conservation.
That is true, yeah.
But it makes more sense for Hammond, though, because in the first movie, he didn't really look at them as a way to make money. Like, he appreciated the dinosaurs. So it doesn't really... It does make sense that he'd be all like, we need to preserve this, though it is kind of a little bit of a character change. But also, if we look at it that he's dying, maybe that's just him being old and weird.
I should say, too, that scene where he goes to visit him the door is answered by an old man, Ian Abercrombie. Mm-hmm. To me, ever since watching this...
You wanted a butler?
I mean, sure. But to me, this has always been Alfred from Batman.
Yeah, it's a very...
And I was thinking to myself today, I was like, wait a minute, why do I think he is Alfred? It's like, did he voice Alfred in something? So I looked him up. He was Alfred in the, I think, 2002, 2003 CW series Birds of Prey.
Oh.
And I
never
was
watched
briefly
that.
obsessed with that show. It lasted, half a season. It was like 13 episodes.
Okay.
It was canceled, I believe. I was briefly obsessed with that show, probably around the exact same time I first watched these movies.
Oh, that could be it, yeah.
So he was just Alfred, and I just completely forgotten the connection to why I thought he was Alfred.
That's funny.
Because he did play Alfred at one point.
I think I saw a comment on a YouTube video somewhere where they're like, they said something like, oh, Alfred's his butler, and I'm just like, okay. Because I didn't bother to look into it. I just figured, well, he's saying he's rich like Batman, and he's got... And then I'm like, there's been so many Alfreds. I'm like, like you. Like, I'm like, well, maybe he voiced him, but I just couldn't be bothered to look into it any. I'm just like, yeah, I get it. He's a butler.
It had been so long, because, like, even though I was briefly obsessed with this and Birds of Prey at the same time, this has lasted much longer for me than Birds of Prey. I haven't thought of Birds of Prey in...
Probably until you read that note.
Yeah, I was like, oh, well, that's why he's Alfred in my mind.
Because he
was
is.
Alfred at that time.
That's funny. They probably were like, hey, you were already playing a butler. You just want to come over in your same clothes?
No, he played Alfred at the time I was watching this, because this was made in 2000 or 97.
Maybe the person doing the casting for Birds of Prey was like, haven't you done a scene like this
Oh,
before?
maybe. Well, actually... I did read that he also played Alfred in like a Batman Returns or Batman and Robin commercial, like for a fast food chain. Like he played Alfred for like a tie-in, even though he wasn't in the movie.
Yeah, it's like, because that's not the Alfred from the movie. That's funny. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, just random little weird fact
just
about
nice little
me.
Easter eggs they plant all over.
Yeah. Also in that same scene, you get Lex and Tim briefly.
It's good to see them.
Yes. I was always disappointed that they weren't in more of the movie, but also I don't need them to get traumatized again.
No. I do think their conversation with Ian is weird, though, when he's like, do you guys know what's going on? And they just stare at him. I hate that. Nobody just stares and you walk away without them answering. Like, just be like, well, you better go talk to him if you want to know.
I don't think I really understood it years ago. I think it made more sense to me now watching it for the podcast, because I know what's going on. Like, the guy who is basically enacting a hostile takeover is also a relative of theirs.
Yeah.
So they're just... I guess it's probably traumatizing in a whole different way, because they have this whole family drama infighting thing happening.
Unless they don't know anything about why Ian's there, and maybe this is part of that cutscene with Hammond dying. Maybe they think Ian's there because Hammond's dying and he wants to see him.
Oh,
so that would
maybe.
make more sense why they look kind of grim, like, well, Grandpa's dying.
It could be.
You know, instead of, well, Grandpa's got another island and wants to send you there so you almost die again. Sorry. So
Yeah,
the whole
it could
him
be.
dying and them thinking he's there to see him because he's dying would make more sense why they don't really answer and they look kind of grim.
Mm-hmm. There are several things in this movie where I feel like they needed to add in a little bit more clarifying dialogue or another scene to make something make more sense.
Yeah, they need to kind of, like I said, this movie moves at the speed of sound. Like, they could have slowed down just a tad.
I read that in the first draft, like with all the storyboards and everything, the movie was going to be 4 hours long and they had to really cut it down.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah, there was probably some stuff that had to be cut that would have helped.
Well, let's get that director's cut. I'll sit through 4 hours of The Lost World with Jeff Goldblum and such.
Yeah, me too. I don't think they had filmed a 4 hour cut. I think they had just written one.
Yeah. And they're like, never mind. This isn't going to be a thing until much, much later when Lord of the Rings comes out.
Yeah, they can get away with it nowadays.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, he basically tricks him into going to the island because he's like telling him about this trip that he wants him to go on because he wants them to... I think it's supposed to be like waging a PR campaign against his nephew's plans, because his nephew Ludlow is like planning to like capture dinosaurs and bring them to the mainland and build a new Jurassic Park, and he wants the island to remain untouched. So he's basically building this team who are going to go there and document everything and like try and get out ahead of the new Jurassic Park.
Kind of like a Wild America situation. Like, go here, film the animals in their natural habitat, and prove why we shouldn't mess with them.
Yes.
But the fact that they're dinosaurs alone is proof of that. But
And of course, Malcolm doesn't want to go. So he basically says, well, now you have to because I already got your girlfriend to go there.
Oh, my God. Yeah, and he makes sure to mention her last. He's like, well, I got Eddie and the other guy whose name I can never remember.
And a paleontologist whose name I'm not going to say
yep,
yet.
I'm not going to tell you who that is. Because at first you're thinking, oh, is it Ellie?
I didn't think that. I didn't know who.
The
first time I watched this, I wasn't thinking of him being.
Unless I guess you watched the trailer and then you know the actress is a completely different actress who's in the movie. But I don't think I watched too many trailers when I was little or younger. But yeah, then he kind of like, well, she came to me. I didn't do it. It's not my fault she's there. She wanted to go. And then immediately he's just like, oh, shit.
Hammond is, he's not evil, but he's like.
He's conniving, though.
Yeah, he's kind of like if an evil guy was actually nice.
Right.
Like, he's not evil.
Well, he's rich and he knows how to get what he wants.
He has, like, underhanded ways of doing things.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and he's such a cute little old grandpa that you can't really blame him.
Well, and he says, too, the way he got the other two guys to go is he threw enough money at him that they agreed to go. Like, Sarah was the only one who knew what she was going into. Mm-hmm. Because she says, she researched it and went and talked to people because Ian didn't really tell her very much. I think the only person Ian really told everything to was his daughter.
I think he had told her enough because she mentioned something about him filling her head with stories.
Yeah.
And she wanted to see things for herself. Mm-hmm. And because he had a line about like, those were stories of like death and destruction or something
not to like inspire you. Just to warn you.
Yeah. You mentioned he has his daughter. His daughter stows along with them on this trip.
Mm-hmm. And I like Kelly. I mean,
too.
she's fun. She's spunky. She's a good kid actor and a good, she wasn't like overly annoying. She's a kid, and I like how she mouths off to her dad so much.
She was one of my favorite characters when I was a teenager. Everyone hates it apparently, but I loved the scene with her doing gymnastics.
I don't like that scene.
The raptor. That was one of my favorite parts.
It's such a cheesy.
It is. Like watching it now, everything about all of that was so cheesy. But like the first time I watched this, I was like, yes, this is amazing.
It kind of fits in with the beginning of the movie with the rich people. Like it's very cheesy and very cartoonish, and that's what I would expect to see in a cartoon.
But there were so many things like. Not that I was watching this through fresh eyes, because I had watched... This is by far the movie of the whole franchise that I have watched the most. Like, I could recite lines along with them. So it's not like I was watching this with fresh eyes, but I kind of was, in that I was able to see more of the criticisms people have this time of things being cheesy and unrealistic.
Well, and you review movies now, so you watch things closer to, see what you can find that might be... Not nitpick, like my mom's always telling me. I nitpick everything. It's like, no, I'm paying attention to the details. Like, I'm looking at the details. I'm looking at the scene setup, how it's filmed, the music choice, how they frame it. It's like you look at the details now instead of just taking it in and enjoying it, which is a double-edged sword, I guess.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like her. I even liked the gymnastics scene, so. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Spielberg... I think he casted her just because he liked her and then found a place that he could put her, because I read that he had seen her at the premiere of the movie A Little Princess.
Oh, yeah.
Which I haven't seen since I was a kid, so I had not remembered that she was in that.
Yeah, now that you say that. So okay.
So he saw her. Sense. He saw her in that and said, basically, I want to put her in a movie. And then... just made it work. Because apparently, I haven't read the book yet, but apparently her character is based on two characters from the book. Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna...
They've merged there's a character named Kelly and a character named Arby.
Arby, yep.
And they've merged them into one. Were either of them his daughter in the book?
No.
Okay.
Though in the book, though, Arby is a little black nerd, and the girl, what'd you say her name was? I forgot already.
Kelly and Arby.
Kelly. She is a tall Caucasian, also nerd, but she's more, I think, into like sports and stuff than he is. So watching it, I'm like, yeah, they totally just put those characters together. Though she's not nerdy, though. She's just there to make Jeff Goldblum's life a little harder, Ian Malcolm's life a little harder.
Like, she is not visibly on-screen nerdy, but she had a couple of lines that make me think that maybe she is when she's not running away from dinosaurs, because there was that whole scene where he's talking about leaving her with a babysitter.
She's such a troglodyte.
Yeah, she doesn't even have Sega. She's such a troglodyte.
Well, I think she's also very much like her dad.
Yeah.
Because we don't know who her mom is, but I think she is very much like her dad.
Yeah, and the fact that she was black and he was white, I don't think that even... It's the same with the Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella. I didn't even think about it.
No,
when I was watching it.
Nope. I think when I watched it as a kid, it didn't even occur to me, because Ian says in Jurassic Park, the first movie, he says he's got like 3 or 4 kids. He loves kids. Yeah. And he's single. So I'm like, yeah, why not? He seems like the kind of guy who, if he falls for you, he falls for you. And if he can he loves kids, so let's make kids. So I'm like, yeah, I would like to see his other kids, but
yeah.
And they have such good chemistry together. Like the way they talk to each other, the way he talks to her.
They seem like they're a father and daughter.
Yeah, they have great chemistry, and like I said, she's got some of him in her with the way she talks back to him and stuff. So the moment she started talking back to him and stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, that's his kid. Absolutely, I buy it. That's his daughter.
Yeah. Yeah, the fact that they made her his daughter was not that it was an afterthought, because he wanted this actress. So, like, she was going to be in the movie. They just needed a way to write it so that she was in the movie and make it make sense.
Yeah, instead of having 2 kids that aren't related to him, they're like, well, let's just give him a kid.
Because I think the original idea was that she was his student, and then they were saying, like, well, he would never teach grade school.
Right. That is more in line with the book, but not for him.
Okay.
You'll find out when you reread it.
Okay. And then they also said, well, maybe he got a drunk driving ticket and had to do community service, so he's tutoring this child.
Oh, he is the last person I would let tutor my child. They're going to come home talking about chaos theory and never shut up.
And then the script progressed, and then they added in the stuff about dinosaurs nurturing, being parents, and they thought it would be a good idea to have that as part of the theme with the humans too, and then have Kelly be Malcolm's daughter. But then they were thinking, like, well, she's black and he's not, and how could we make this work? But apparently Steven Spielberg has 2 adopted black children, which I didn't know.
I didn't know that either.
And they decided, let's just do it. And they were going to write in an explanation of, like, why he has a black daughter, and they dropped the idea when they couldn't think of a simple way to put it in, and like
a wedding picture on the wall.
That would have worked.
Like with him and her mom, like her black mom. Like, here's our wedding picture before we got divorced. This is my biracial daughter.
Yeah, but even though they didn't do that, I don't think it matters.
No, it doesn't matter.
Because like I said, it didn't even cross my mind. I literally did not think about it.
No, I know they make a comment in the movie. The one guy makes a comment. He says, do you see any family resemblance here? And I'm just like, listen to them talk to each other. There's your family resemblance.
Yeah.
But yeah,
they really do seem like father and daughter.
Yeah, like I said, as a kid, it didn't even occur to me that she was black. I was just like, and she's so cute. Like, I don't care. She's cute. She's a cute kid.
Yeah. What did you think of the other 2 members of his team?
Eddie is the hero of the movie.
Yes.
And the other guy whose name I can never remember. I'm looking right.
I just call him Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, Vince Vaughn. Owen. That's what I was going to say. And Vince Vaughn is annoying.
I think this might still be, to this day, the only movie I've ever seen Vince Vaughn in.
I think it might be mine as well.
I know he plays in like a lot of comedies and stuff.
See, and I hate comedies.
I don't hate comedies, but I don't watch a ton of movies that are strictly comedies.
Well, and I think he's done like, oh yeah, he was like in Swingers, which I haven't seen. Wedding Crashers, I haven't seen. I never watched him as Norman Bates. Psycho, that's weird. Hacksaw Ridge, I think I saw him in that, but I don't remember watching that movie. But yeah, I think this might be like the only movie I've seen him in too. And like I said, I can never remember his name because I'm just like, you're so annoying.
I don't think I found him annoying, but he wasn't a character that I loved. Like if
Right.
he'd been eaten instead of Eddie, I would have preferred that.
Oh, everybody would have. That's why they had to kill Eddie, because everybody loved him. It's like if Owen would have got ate, you'd have been like, well, so anyway, on with the day.
Yeah, though Eddie's death scene is like one of the worst.
It's
death
like the most
scenes.
tragic thing in like both the movies. You're just like, nah, Eddie, and because he's being a hero up until the end. Even watching it last night, I'm like, I really don't want to watch Eddie get eaten. Like, poor guy.
Yeah, even though this was my favorite of the movies, I hated that scene.
I will say I love their setup. The Jeeps, the giant trailers, the safari trailers.
Yes, the whole scene where the cliff scene, that's one of my favorite, other than him dying, that's one of my favorite set pieces in the franchise.
Well, like as a kid, like those giant safari buses, trailers, whatever you want to call them. Like as a kid, I was like, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine going on an adventure in one of those? Like, that is so cool. Like, they've got everything in there. They got like the lab and the kitchen and, you know, the beds and everything. Like, that is awesome.
Yeah.
And it's such a great set piece because Lost World is still in that era where we're not doing CGI for everything yet. We're shooting on a location. We are.
And the CGI that they are using, because there is a little bit in there.
It's still top notch.
It's used to enhance what is already practical effects.
Yes, and it is still great.
Yes.
Like watching it last night, I'm like, this still looks so good.
Yes.
And, you know, they're, like I said, they're on location, they're building sets, they're building everything. It's not all just green screen and fake.
It's kind of funny talking about CGI. Like, in some ways, the CGI is so much better, and in other ways... Last night, this wasn't the only movie I watched last night for the podcast, because I'm also getting ready to do a series on Tron.
Oh.
So I watched, Shayna and Eric came over last night, and we watched the original Tron.
God, I haven't watched that in forever.
Tron Legacy. And, like, Tron Legacy is a distinct step up from the original Tron. It looks totally different, looks
Except for
slick.
the de-aging.
Yes, that is what I was going to mention, because the first thing that I noticed when he turned around, I was like,
Oh, hell.
that is a plastic face.
Yeah. I saw that in theater, and I was just like, oh, man. Man, we couldn't just cast someone else.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, as far as CGI goes and is better today, this looks better because it is enhancing practical effects instead of just putting a whole new face on somebody.
Right. And, like, we're filming on a soundstage that looks like a jungle, or we're filming in the jungle instead of we're in a dome and everything is CGI and nothing's real.
Yeah.
You know, when they're walking through the mud and through the trees, like,
Yes.
like you feel it. Like, you hear the rain, everybody's soaking wet, they're slipping in the mud. Like, it's very submersive because it's real.
Yeah.
You know, nowadays they would just be, like I said, in like the things that Disney uses to film. Those rounds.
The volume.
The volume, that's it. I was going to call it the dome. The volume where you just, it looks cool, but nothing's real.
But it even though, like, it's so weird because there is such a difference. Like, the volume, like, if you're watching them film it, like, behind the scenes stuff, it does look real. But it doesn't feel real.
Yeah, like, that first season of Mandalorian, I'd say is the best use of the volume because that first season's great, but I don't know if they just slacked off afterwards.
There's just something about, like, I like The Mandalorian, even the third season, I like The Mandalorian. But there's a difference between the way it feels. Because, like, if you watch The Mandalorian and then you watch Andor.
Oh, right.
Andor was shot on location.
Yeah, Andor's on location.
Like, if you took any frame of both of those shows, they both look so good. But then when you're watching them, there's just something about Andor that feels more real.
Yeah, they're out.
I can't explain it. It's hard to explain.
Well, yeah, because like on Andor, they're out in the woods. Like they went on location and filmed. They're walking through real trees. You know, they might have to green screen some of the background, kind of like what they did with Lord of the Rings. Like we're out in the wilderness, but we can see the highway. So, you know, we'll green screen that highway away and add a mountain there. But we're still out in the world. And like when they're filming like in the buildings, like they're in places. They're not just, it's not all fake. It's not all green screen to replace later. The actors are reacting to stuff that's around them. Like when they're out on location, their hair's moving because there's a breeze. Mm-hmm. You know, like when everything's filmed inside and there's not, you know, there's only a breeze when they want there to be a breeze. But when you're outside, or they're squinting in the sun.
Yeah.
You know, or they're frowning because the sun's bright or the wind or the dust. Like, there's elements to filming out on location and in the wilds that you're not going to get when you're on a soundstage or you're on or in a volume.
It's probably just one of those things where we just kind of instinctively know that this is not real because they're not, even though it technically looks real. There's just something about the way they're interacting with the environment that doesn't read as real.
Right. It's like if they're filming like on a spaceship. Like if it's something like a set that they built and everything's real, you're like, that looks cool. But then if it's all green screen and only parts of it are built, you're like, well, it looks neat, but I can tell that this isn't. And it's not like in Star Wars where they had the giant matte paintings, because those, they're still there. You know, you still see them in the background. And it's not like a green screen that's replaced later. You know, it's something made specifically for this scene. I don't really know how to describe it.
I don't either. It's just a feeling. You just kind of know.
Yeah. It's kind of like when they film and the actors aren't on set together and you're like, he's not talking to him.
Yeah.
You know, they're not face to face. They're not interacting. It's like none of these people were in the same room.
That's why I always feel like in animated films, you can always tell, like, I always feel like it is better when you can tell that they are recording together because there is a banter. You can ad-lib a little bit. Whereas if they're not together, they're recording all their lines separately, they have to just go off the script. They can't play off each other.
Well, and especially if they're filming or recording something really emotional, like if the actors are supposed to be like crying because they're upset, like the people playing off them are going to have a much stronger reaction. If the person next to them is actually crying, then be like, hey, Steve's crying, you need to cry too.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'll do my best, I guess. Yeah. That's very true.
Yeah. Practical things and in-person things are always superior.
I will say, though, that opening moment when they get to the island and they see the stegosaurs, I will say that is very, very close to the scene in the first movie when they see the brachiosaurus. Like, it's almost perfect. The sound, the way the dinosaurs look, the music, the awe. Like, I was watching it last night. I'm like, this is just so good. And not just because I really wanted to see a stegosaurus.
I will say, though, I feel like the stegosaurus in that scene are too big.
What?
Like, I feel like they're almost kaiju-sized.
Oh, let them be kaiju-sized. let them be just the biggest stegos you've seen in your life. To be fair, I think the Rex is also too big. So they're just
I thought that, too, in a later scene.
Yeah.
There's a part where he steps on a guy, and I'm like, I don't think his foot is that big.
No, this isn't Godzilla we're talking about here.
Which, again, this is things that I did not think about when I first watched this. I just love
you're
the
like,
movie.
dinosaurs are big. That totally makes sense. Like, I'm a little kid. Dinosaurs are huge.
Yeah. I do love the setting for that scene, too. I think they shot it in, like, a redwood forest. They sent people to record sounds in Costa Rica to get, like, the sounds of the jungle.
Yeah, because it's definitely not going to be the same background noise.
Yeah. But just the place that they shot that scene is just a really cool spot.
Yeah, I suppose if you wanted to be, like, really picky, you could be like, those aren't tropical plants, but who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares? Like, it's a gorgeous location.
Yes.
Like, whoever found it did a great job.
Yeah. Pretty much every place that they shot just looked so good in very different ways, because there's a lot of different types of locations. Because, like, the next scene is that big open canyon where they're chasing the dinosaurs. It doesn't look like it's in the same place as a redwood forest.
No. I mean, I suppose if the island's not very big, it's going to have some very dramatic, different landscapes. But again, this movie's flying by. And then it does have one of those funny moments where they're looking for Sarah, so they're all yelling, even though Ian should know better. And he yells, Sarah Harding. And he's like, how many Sarahs do you think are on this island?
There was so many quotes. That was one of them where I was just like, I could just recite this whole thing right along with it.
I know. It's just like, he's so quippy. And then she's right there. I'm like, no way you did not hear them yelling your name. Ma'am, Miss Ma'am.
One of my other favorite lines is in that scene too, where they see the stegosauruses and everybody is like in awe, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's how it always starts."
Oh,
and
yeah.
later there's running and screaming.
And he's like, "What did you think you were gonna say?" And he's like, "I don't know, like big iguanas."
What did Hammond tell them?
Nothing. You're gonna go see some lizards, and I need you to document how they live. Yeah, okay. Like Komodo dragons or something. Why do we need this giant RV? Like, oh, it'll be fine.
Oh, and then also when they see the baby Triceratops, look, she has to touch it. She can't.
Yeah, she can't not touch. I will say that the baby Stegosaurus's animatronic is a rather weaker one. Like, you can tell.
You can tell it's an animatronic.
It doesn't have quite as much of the detail. Like, if you compare it to, like, the Rex in the first movie, which looks real. Like, if you watch the behind the scenes with the Rex, it looks real. Like,
I did read that they only had a year to make all the animatronics, whereas they had 2 years the first time around.
Yeah, you can tell because it's like it's a little weaker, but hey, you know what? She's actually touching something. Like, yeah, I can tell it's fake, but
I
at least
prefer
it's
it to
there.
look like that, where instead of a plastic CGI dinosaur,
Yeah, where you're touching like a tennis
touching
ball.
some air and pretending it's
Right.
there.
Like, here, I'm going to hold this green thing up and act like you're petting a dinosaur. So it's like, I'd rather, pet the little animatronic stego too. But it also is where I start to, like, question Sarah. Because the whole time they're like, she knows what she's doing. She's an expert. She studies predators. She knows what she's doing. But at the opening of the movie, she screws up. Like, how, by petting the dinosaur.
There was multiple times
Where you're like, are you
in
sure
my
she's a
memory, she's a
professional?
genius and like she is knows what she's doing. But there were multiple times watching it. This time, I was like, she's acting too dumb.
Yes, I'm like, she's not acting like a professional.
Yes,
Like someone, like, I studied predators in Kenya. Did you? Are you sure? Because you're not acting like when she's wearing the bloody coat and the Rex follows
the
them.
whole baby the whole baby Rex scene. Ugh, I was just like mentally face palming the whole time. I'm like, why are you doing this?
When you reread the book, it'll be a little bit better. But yeah, in the movie, I'm just like, could we not? Also, that baby's way too big.
I did wonder about that, but I didn't look it up. So
It was probably easier to make a bigger robot, a bigger animatronic to deal with than something smaller. Because it's got to have all the moving pieces in it.
yeah.
And it's probably just more fun that way. But still, I'm just like, that's a big baby. But I do like the stego attack, though, when they do turn and try to hit her with their tails.
With their thagomizers.
And then they're gone. Just like that. It's like the going theme in Jurassic Park movies. It's just like bippity boppity boo. It's gone.
Yeah, that is true.
They just dissipate.
They kind of gave up on this apparent threat quite quickly.
Well, I mean, and then they just apparated right out of there. I'm like, where'd the whole herd go? They gone now.
That is true. They weren't even off in the distance because it would have taken them a while to disappear into the trees.
I mean, I have watched videos of elephants like coming out of the brush and disappearing into the brush, so I guess it makes sense. But also, like, they're a lot bigger.
Yeah.
But, money. And this movie's got to keep going.
Yes.
We don't have time to figure out where the stegos went.
Speed
Nope.
through the whole thing.
We got to keep going because now we got to go back to the camp where they find Kelly. Kudos to the girl for starting a fire, though.
How long was she in that trailer? Because there was garbage all over the place.
Right, that always annoyed me. I like this kid and everything, but girl, what did you do? Why is there garbage everywhere? He says it looks like your room, and I'm just like, look, I was a messy kid too, but not when it comes to like food stuff. Like, you're just gonna attract bugs. Yeah, she really kind of went ham in there, just tearing through all the cabinets. I'm like, you're not gonna have any food left.
And the whole argument when they're trying to figure out what to do with her, a lot of that cracked me up more now than it did then, because they had a lot of good quippy lines. Like, he's trying to chew her out and Sarah comes in to like defend her, just like talking about how she's just curious. Where do you think she gets it? Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, and Ian's just like, you could tell he's been cornered by these two before where they team up on him, and he's just like, God damn it, like, I don't have time to deal with both you women right now. It's just like, my life's going to pieces. I'm stuck on an island with dinosaurs. The satellite phone won't work, so he keeps beating it up. And Eddie's trying to stop him from breaking the equipment.
That was another line that is permanently stuck in my head. Violence and technology, not good bedfellows.
He's not wrong. As someone who's thrown their laptop before, it doesn't work. It's not going to work better.
And then they go inside and they're arguing, and Kelly chimes in the middle of the argument with Sarah. You know, Sarah has a pretty good... It is so important to your future that you do not finish that sentence. Outside. And then she starts going outside. No, Kelly, where do you think you're going?
I mean, I will give it credit. Like, we don't see too much of Ian's PTSD in this movie, but the way he is with his daughter shows that.
Yeah.
He's got something there. They just don't really address it too much. Because, you know, they're always like, you're being overprotective. At one point, Kelly tells him to cut the umbilical.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he is being a little much, but also, like, what he went through in the last movie, 4 years ago, because it's only 4 years later. Like, and the book alludes a little bit more to his PTSD, but not that much. But he would be very much like, okay, kid, I need to talk to my girlfriend, go outside. And then, wait, if she goes outside, that's where the dinosaurs are. So I need you in here because you're going to die. But it does all come off as very comedic because Jeff Goldblum's just, like I said, he's so quippy. He's so likable.
Yes. At a line or two later where Sarah tells him that he can just take Kelly back and she'll be back in 5 or 6 days. And he says, no, you'll be back in 5 or 6 pieces.
Especially after what you just pulled back there. I have no faith in you. How have you survived 3 days already? And then we get InGen showing up. I'm just like, I forgot when I rewatched it last night how quick this happened. Because I'm like, they've been there 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And here comes the InGen helicopters. Just like, holy crap. This is just going.
Yeah.
Just going.
Yes, the movie is like 2 hours long, but I feel like when I was younger, it felt so much longer, but not in a bad way. Because like sometimes when a movie feels long, it's like, when is this going to be over? I just felt like it just was going at breakneck speed.
Well, that little kid did say, don't make it boring.
Yeah, they really took that advice to heart.
Yeah.
And this is where you meet most of the other new characters on the InGen side. We'd already met the nephew, Ludlow, but now we meet Roland Tembo, and he has like a friend or a sidekick named Ajay, which I did not realize that was his name until years later, because I thought he was calling him RJ. Yeah,
I think I thought he was calling him RJ too, because he's got a bit of an accent.
Yeah, but Roland Tembo is a great character. Pete Postlethwaite.
Yeah.
Or Postlethwaite.
You can't, like you're supposed to not like him because of the reason why he's there, because he's a big game hunter, and who likes big game hunters? But you can't help but like him, because unlike Sarah, he is an expert in what he's doing.
And he's just so
charismatic.
Yes. He's such a great character.
Well, and there's a cut. Did you see the deleted scene with him? They're in Costa Rica at a bar, and the waitress is getting like sexually harassed by another patron, and he gets up and he says, "Stop touching her. And if you don't, I'll beat you with one hand tied behind my back." And he does. He like takes on.
I think I remember that. I didn't watch the deleted scenes.
Which I like that because it shows that it develops that character more.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't have to stand up for her, but he did, because he's a man. He's not going to harass, I think that's the kind of what they're pushing on. Like, he's a big game hunter, but
he's still a gentleman.
He's still a gentleman in a way. And also when he says he's going to do something, he can do it. And he proves himself like the second we meet him, when Ludlow is like, "Let's set up here." And he's like,
do you want to set up base camp or a buffet?
Yeah, he's like, "Do you want to die?" Like, he doesn't even need to stop the car. He just takes one look around. He's like, "This is a game trail. We'll all die if we get here." And then he kind of rips him a new one, and he's like, "You're right. You should just call the shots." And I'm like, "Yeah, let the expert call the shots."
But I also, even though watching it now, this reads to me as very cartoonish and over the top, I still like his line where he has this whole diatribe about not wanting money. All he wants in exchange for his service is the right to hunt a T-Rex, a buck, a male. How and why are my business?
It is very like you go to the bad guy's lair and there's a T-Rex head on the wall. It is also, but it fits with the rest of the theme so far.
Yeah.
This is very, like I said, it's Jurassic Park, so it's not scary. It is directed to little kids. This movie was made to make toys. Because there were a lot of them, because I had some of them, and my cousin had most of them. And I was so jealous of him, because he had so many awesome toys. But this is a movie for kids, so it is more for kids than the first movie. The first movie is definitely more of an adult, like you watch it with your mom or your dad movie, and this is like, other than Eddie getting killed, this is, your kids could just sit down and watch The Lost World. It's got cartoony characters. It's got over-the-top characters. Yeah, it's got a few scary moments in it, but it's very clearly more marketed toward kids than the first movie.
Yeah, I could see that.
And that's why, as him being a big game hunter, he's very over-the-top and kind of what you would expect if you, like, typed in big game hunter, like in Pinterest. He's got the hat, he's got the gun, he's wearing the clothes. Like, it's very cliche.
Yes.
But you like him.
Yeah.
He's not like in Tarzan, the villain in Tarzan. Clayton. Yeah. He's not like Clayton, who you hate immediately, who's just there to kill things. You're like, I don't want him to hunt the T-Rex, but he's not a piece of shit either, so
yeah,
we got to reach a middle here.
I prefer characters like that, where you think they're going to be one thing, but they're also this other thing that seems unrelated.
They have character. They're not, their whole personality isn't just what you see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like him.
And then just a bunch of red coats with him.
Mostly. Even the named ones die pretty quickly, because the other team lead is Dieter Stark, who, for some reason, I thought he was going to last longer. Again, breakneck speed. He died pretty quickly from my memory, because I thought he lasted much longer.
Is that the one who gets killed by compies?
Yes.
Yeah. That's after...
That's when they're on the trek through the jungle.
Yes. That's after they release all the dinosaurs and everything goes to shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so... But then but he's also an example of a character you're like, I don't like this guy. Like, he can get eaten.
Yeah. I do... I liked this line, not because I like it, but because it is the perfect summation of his character. Because you have the scene with him talking to Robert Burke, who is the Robert Baker character. We mentioned that in the last episode. And he is explicitly based on him. I looked it up. He is explicitly based on him.
I showed you that picture of him. I'm like, you can't tell me this is not.
Yes. He was definitely based on him, but they have this whole conversation. They're talking about the compy, and he tells Dieter that the compies have no reason to fear man, because this thing is like coming up to them, it's like curious, and then he pulls out a little
stun gun.
Yeah, and he zaps it, and it runs away chirping and shrieking. He's like, now they do. Which is a great line. Like, it's awful. Like, he's a horrible person, but I like that line because of it's just perfect for him.
Yeah, it sets up his kind of character. It's like he didn't have to do that. He could have just been like, oh, okay. That's good to know. Instead, he's like, well, I'm going to zap this little thing. And just because I think it's, funny, or I guess he doesn't laugh. I think he's just a character you're not supposed to like. I mean, you just look at his face and you're like, I don't like this guy.
Yeah. But yeah, the Robert Burke character is definitely based on Robert Baker. And Robert Baker believed that T-Rex was a predator, because that whole conversation that Sarah was having earlier in the movie, they changed the name to Burke, so it is about him.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
So, like, they didn't reference the fact that she knew who he was, I don't think.
Well, Hammond says she's a paleontologist.
But Burke, like, her knowing Burke, like, she was familiar with his work, but I don't think they referenced that he was who she was talking about. Like, I only just put this together last night.
Yeah.
Or putting together my notes.
It's not like she sees him and she's like, oh, hey, I've studied your work. So.
And I don't agree with any of it, and I want to prove you wrong.
Right.
which is what she was doing, but it never clicked that the person she is talking about is also in the movie as well.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder, even watching it last night, that didn't click. I wonder if it's because in my head, I heard Baker instead of Burke. And so I just thought she was talking about the actual guy instead of the guy playing the guy in the movie.
Maybe. I don't know.
Or it just didn't click in my
But also,
head.
I didn't even pick up on his name. Like, if you had asked me 2 days ago what the guy in the cowboy hat with the long hair's name was,
In the beard.
could not have told you.
Yeah, I couldn't have told you
I couldn't
either.
even told you Dieter. Like, even though I recognized the name Dieter, I wouldn't have remembered which one was Dieter.
Right. Like, I only paid attention to that guy is because it's clearly he's the guy who knows about the dinosaurs, and he looks like, you know, somebody. You can tell he's based off someone in real life.
But there were multiple times where, and I didn't pick up on this when I was younger, where I feel like because this is based on a real person, and apparently he kind of a rival, Jack Horner, another paleontologist, was like an advisor on this film. There was something going on with them because they explicitly based this character on him.
So they're like, hey, let's put Robert in the movie and have him get killed.
Yes, but also he seems to be like slightly wrong about things, like consistently. And I don't know if it's on purpose, because like with the compies, I mentioned, I think in the previous episode, Procompsognathus versus Compsognathus. And I couldn't remember what he had mentioned the name was, but apparently he identifies it wrong in the movie.
So it's like they're throwing shade at the real guy
Yes.
from the movie. That's so petty.
I know.
That's so petty. You know, Robert Baker was watching this movie. If he caught on, he probably did. He was like, you son of a bitch.
He did know, he did watch it, but he liked it because he got eaten and he thought that proved himself right, that the T-Rexes were more of a predator.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. I thought maybe they called him up and were like, hey, we're going to put someone who looks like you in this movie. How do you want to die? And I'd be like, oh, I want the Rex to eat me, man. That'd be epic. I don't want to get taken out by no compies. You
Nope.
better let that Rex eat me.
But
But the way he dies is so stupid. A snake!
that also I have to mention too. But first, Jack Horner, the rival paleontologist, he's the one who wanted him to die. He did it on purpose.
This is my own fan fiction.
Yes.
I'm going to kill him in my fan fiction. Oh, petty old men.
But yeah, the scene where he does die with the snake, that scene always bugged me when I was younger watching it, because the snake, like, did you ever learn the rhyme about
Yes.
if red touches yellow, you're a dead fellow. If red touches black, you're okay, Jack. If you go by that rhyme, that snake was not poisonous.
And also, why is it in a waterfall?
That's probably a good question. I don't know.
I don't think those kind of snakes. I mean, I could be wrong, but a viper of some sort would have made more sense. But it stood out. It was colorful, and people usually see that pattern and they don't know the rhyme, and they're like, "Oh, it's a yellow and black snake. That means it's gonna."
But the way that scene played out, in my mind watching it, I'm like, that snake is not poisonous. Why is he freaking out? But now I'm wondering if they did it on purpose, because he misidentified the snake in his mind. He thinks he's going to die, so he died of his own dumbness.
I figured maybe he just didn't like snakes. I mean, just because you study dinosaur bones doesn't mean you like
that
snakes.
too, but I don't know, because that was never mentioned in anything I read. I just wonder.
To be fair, he was on high adrenaline, and all of a sudden there's a snake slithering through your long hair and into your beard. Like, snake! But I think I'd be like, oh, just throw that snake out to the... But hey, at least the T-Rex didn't use his prehensile forked tongue to reach in and grab him around the face and pull him out. Can you imagine?
No, I can't imagine. Even reading the first book, I could not imagine. I could not picture in my head how this was going to work. I'm very glad they did not keep the prehensile tongue.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think
It's such a bizarre idea.
Yeah, it's just, it's, I get it, but it's just weird. But anyway, then we're back to them hunting the dinosaurs, which again, they landed those vehicles, hopped right in and took off.
Yeah, again, breakneck speed. They wasted no time. The thing about that scene that struck me this time is like how unaffected all of the mercenaries are.
Yeah.
Like, if I was just dropped on an island and suddenly there's dinosaurs everywhere and I have to catch them, I don't think I could have moved. I would have just been frozen staring at them.
Well, and how did Ian and them find them? Because like you said, we're not in the same geographical location no more. How did
they would have had to travel a ways to get there.
Yeah, and they had to have all hopped in a Jeep and followed them and then, listened to the sound? Like, how did they find them?
I don't know.
I was going to say, unless they had... See, you haven't reread the book yet. The book, there's cameras set up, but they set those up, so they're not going to have any of that stuff set up yet. So it's just, again, it's just one of those bippity boppity boo, here we are.
Yeah.
But I do love this dinosaur stampede scene. Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said, again, there are the toys.
Yes.
There are the toys, the dino damage toys, the trucks, the capture vehicles, you know, all of it. And I love, you know, when he rides the motorcycle under the apatosauruses. I don't think they're brochosauruses.
I have a whole list of the dinosaurs. They were ones that I'm not familiar with. Mamenchisaurus.
I mean, there's so many different kinds of sauropods that...
It was apparently they used the CGI Brachiosaurus model and altered it to make a Mamenchisaurus.
That makes sense. I mean, why come up with a whole new model? Yeah, because that's not the dinosaur. I think in the book it's just the apatosauruses, which I would have liked to have seen because I love their tails. Mm-hmm. But, you know, it's just the stampede scene is just so good. And, you know, them riding around him. And again, like you said, nobody's phased. They're just all like, I'm here to work. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay.
They're cartoon characters.
Yes.
They're not real humans.
No. And the fact that they're just like catching dinosaurs right and left, they're just like, I got a lasso. I'm like, is this Valley of the Guanji? What are we doing here? And then the one truck that has the padded thing come down to catch the Packy. Again, that was a toy. And I love it though when the Packy knocks that guy all the way through the vehicle.
Yes.
Because I'm like, yes, show that these are strong, violent animals. I don't care if they're herbivores. Mm-hmm. I want to see them rain chaos. But they're scared because they don't know what any of this stuff is, and it's very loud. So I don't blame them. Mm-hmm. And of course, that's where we get our big, what does he call it? Elvis, the pump with the pompadour.
They couldn't remember the names of any of the dinosaurs. They were calling the Pachycephalosaurus Friar Tuck, which I guess I get it because these are mouthfuls of names. Like I said, I'm not even 100% sure. My favorite dinosaur, Parasaurolophus, I've never been sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
See, and I pronounce it Paraphilophosaurus. So it's both. It's just like, what is it? Who knows?
I've also heard people call it Parasaurolophus.
Oh, that's lame.
I don't know. These are mouthfuls of names. If you don't hear experts saying them all the time, you're not going to know. But it still struck me as weird that they came up with weird nicknames like Friar Tuck and Elvis.
Well, and Roland... You know, he's got the paperwork and he just flings it out the window because he's just like, I don't have time for this. Like, just get that one, you know?
Yeah.
Which I don't blame him because everybody, and I do like that they show all the other guys just laughing because they don't know either. They're not a bunch of nerds. There's only one nerd here and he's really nerding out. But they're all just like, yeah, that big one there. Though I would have liked to have seen them catch that giant Triceratops because that could not have been easy.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know how they did that.
I can see catching a Stegosaurus maybe being a little bit easier just because they're just known for having such a small brain cavity. But you can't tell me that Triceratops, you know, because I think it's like the ongoing thing with like people who study dinosaurs that they were probably a little bit more aggressive because they did live in the same period as like the Tyrannosaurus. Stegosaurus, I don't think did. I don't think so. I think that was Cretaceous or something.
I can't keep track of when.
I can't either. It's too much. It's just too much. But, you know, it's just like a lot of the old art shows Triceratops just being very kind of territorial. And I would just have loved to seen them try to catch that thing. They had to have knocked that thing out before they even caught it. Because it's just like the horns on that thing are like over 3 feet long. Like it's going to it's going to flip like what it does when it gets loose. It's just going to rain chaos on everybody. And then,
maybe they had a tranquilizer because they did have tranquilizer guns later on. So maybe they tranked it.
Well, they had to have tranked that Paraphilophosaurus because just knocking it off its feet's not going to stop it. You could tell it was a big bull. So like, what, we knocked it down. It's just going to lay down now? No. But again, breakneck speed. They caught a bunch of dinosaurs, and then we skipped to night, and
now we got to listen
to
their evil villain monologue.
Well, and like all the cages are set up, and everything's locked up, and I'm like, wow, can you imagine if these guys applied their work to good, what they could accomplish in such a short period of time?
Maybe that's why maybe in my memory it was longer because in my memory, I know that none of this could happen this quickly, so my brain was filling in gaps that weren't there.
Well, and the thing that gets me too is Owen acts like he doesn't know anything, but then he admits that John Hammond told him this might happen and he should be prepared.
I did wonder about that. It's like, what did he tell you exactly? Because you didn't know there were dinosaurs. Did he tell you that people were coming to capture the large iguanas you thought you were filming?
Because he's got the big thing to cut the lock, so it's like, well, he sent you knowing you could do something about it, but what did you think you were going to do?
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. It's just another thing where it's like, maybe if we slowed down just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, talking about the book, this could be a mini-series. Like, there's so much happening that I feel like this needs more room to breathe than you can get in a movie. Even a 4-hour movie, I feel like just give it like 4, 5, maybe 6 episodes to properly spread things out so it feels more real.
Controversial, as much as I love it, cut off the end. Like, don't have the Rex get to LA and use that time. That it's not very long.
That could help, yeah.
But I like that, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
it's fun. I don't care.
It does feel like a different movie. But
it is a completely different movie. You can tell they were like, let's have some fun. Again, little kids. Yes. What would little kids like? Dinosaurs chasing Hot Wheels.
Yeah, actually, that is kind of what it was like. Dinosaurs chasing Hot Wheels. That was the perfect description of that scene.
Yep. What are little boys going to play with? Their dinosaurs in their cars? Hell yeah, mix it together. So then, while they're setting up their little show and tell of what dinosaurs we've caught, Roland and his buddy find the Rex nest. Again,
and injure the baby.
Of sound. The speed, I'm like, how did you find that? Like, I know you're an expert. Like, in the, you'll see when you read the book, there's a whole thing about the heat signatures, which they could have just had a moment where they had something like that to say how they found stuff. Because I know Hammond says at the beginning that all the predators are in the middle and all the herbivores and stuff are on the outside. But you wouldn't have all the predators in the middle because they're not going to share territory. That's why the raptors are where the original place was set up and the Rexes are further out. But yeah, so then we show up at the Rex nest and yeah, they take the baby, break its leg and stake it down. I'm like, oh my.
I liked you a minute ago.
I know. I'm like, you didn't have to break its leg. You could have just tied it up. It would have squealed no matter what.
Yeah. Maybe it was an accident.
No, I'm sure it wasn't. And also, they don't distinguish how he would know the male from the female without seeing them.
I don't know.
Like, you would...
I can't tell.
Well, like in my theory, the female would be bigger because that's kind of how it is with a lot of lizards and like fish and stuff like that. The females are bigger. So you'd think you'd want to see the pair together first to see the difference and you figure out, because it's not like they got any junk. Or if they would have done more with colors, like we talked about in the other podcast we did, if they would have done more with colors like birds, they could be like, well, the male Rex has like red on his crest and like on his neck or something like that, or his head, giving them colored so that you could be like, well, it's that one because he's brighter colored like a bird. Like how birds are always, the males are always brighter. So I don't know how they just were like, that's it.
No, I don't know.
And also, why did they have to, because they took the baby out of the nest, right?
I was thinking that they had staked it down inside the nest, but I don't actually know that.
I don't think they did, because it looked like they're in a different location, because Muldoon says, oh yeah, they did take it. Muldoon. Sorry.
I do that too, because I kept thinking of them as the same character.
They're very similar guy.
I actually wondered to myself if he was, in the book, it was Muldoon again.
Yeah, no, Roland. He says they can't stay at the Rex nest because they're in the wrong spot because the Rex will smell them. So they do take the Rex so that they can be downwind, right? Downwind? But how do you know that only the male's going to come get the baby? Like we see later on that they work but then they don't know they work as a pair. They're probably running on the assumption of Burke told them that they were single parents. And,
yeah, probably,
and
actually.
they're just assuming maybe one will show up instead of them tag teaming.
No, the sounds that the baby made... I hated the sounds that it made. I'm just like, it's so annoying. But babies make loud, annoying sounds to get their parents' attention, so. It's true. I think I read that they filmed a baby camel
No.
for the
That
for part
makes
of it?
sense because camels do have a very weird guttural sound. I know koalas were used too. 'Cause koalas sound. Yeah, koalas are weird sounding.
for the baby T-Rex?
No, I think just for like the raptors and parts of the Rex to mix
Okay.
into the sound.
Well, my question about the baby raptor was because after it's done with all the screaming, they like muzzle it. It starts making this other noise that I really hate.
Like it's whining.
It sounds like it's laughing. And I hated that noise.
My dad's going to find you and kill all of you. As I sit and laugh.
I don't think it was supposed to be laughing, but it sounded like laughing to me, and I did not
Yeah,
enjoy it.
it's kind of like more of like a high pitched like whine or squeal or something. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. The kind of high pitched whining because he can't open his mouth anymore. So
This was another part where, like, in my memory, Sarah's a genius, and in this part I was like, what is wrong with her?
she's not a genius. She's faking it. She cheated on all her tests.
I have misremembered this character.
I mean, technically, it's Owen's fault because he's the one who goes
True,
and
but
gets
she
it.
helps him.
I know.
If I was her, I would have been like, put that back. I'm very sad that the baby's going to die, but we're not taking that thing.
Again, when you get to the book, that's basically kind of how it starts off. Is they're like, it's sad it's going to die, but it's like we can't take that. Like, no, hell no. Put it back. Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me.
Exactly. But I feel like Kelly and Ian are the only ones who had any sort of reasonable response to this.
Well, and the fact that Kelly, like, she freaked out, like she finally realized exactly what she got herself
Other
into.
animals are going to hear this. I'm
She's
like,
not stupid.
how did Sarah not think of this?
Well, it's like, well, because she's probably a kid and she's thinking, well, if I screamed for my dad would come. So that thing's screaming for its dad, so its dad's going to come. And its mom. But that's after they release all the dinosaurs and we get to see them just kind of destroy that camp, which, again, I finally get to see my Triceratops have a little fun. And we don't really see too much else. I am glad that there was no, I know it's not a Apatosaurus, there was no sauropod there. I'm glad
What would they have held it in?
Exact. A semi-truck, Jonathan. You can shove it in a semi-truck. Yeah, I'm glad that they at least did not have that because I would have been like, this is bullshit. Like, you can have a 30-foot cage for that Stegosaurus or the Triceratops, but that thing that's like 80 feet. No. I will say I did notice, and I appreciated this when I watched it last night. When we first see the Stegosaurus, they pan up and you see the light shining through its plates. And it's very pretty. Well, then when they're caught, they do the same thing. When the Stegosaurus is in the cage, they pan up and you see the spotlight through its plates. And I'm like, that is such a great little thing. Because when we first see it, it's wild and free. And now we're seeing it again and it's captured by man. And instead of the sun shining on it, it's artificial light. And it's also the last time we see it. Because after that, we don't see Stegos no more.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I just thought it was a very nice little kind of touch there where we see both ends, like where it's wild and free and then stuck in a cage. And then also the stupid little animatronic baby is there too. Which I'm like, the last thing I would catch if I was catching wild animals is a baby. If
I had to catch wild animals, that would be the first thing I'd catch because I'd rather catch a baby than a giant angry mother.
But all it's going to do is squeal for its mother.
Actually, that's true. I wouldn't catch any.
No,
of them,
I wouldn't catch it either. But if I was
honest.
these guys, I'd be like, well, if we catch a baby and we don't have its mom and we don't have it with its mom, it's just going to squeal. It's not going to shut up. It's like when you pick up a puppy. Or like a baby pig. If you're like my uncle used to have pigs. Well, he didn't have them, and you pick up a baby pig and all it did was squeal for its mom. It did not shut up. So it's like those little baby dinosaurs are going to be squealing for their moms. And it's going to be really, really... And that's another thing. That base camp was not loud enough. You had all these angry dinosaurs in cages. There should have been a lot of noise.
You're right.
Kind of like...
I didn't even think of that. It was very quiet when they were sneaking up because they could overhear the evil monologue the whole time.
Because, like, again, if you ever walk by a trailer that's got a cow in it that doesn't want to be in that trailer, it's loud as hell because that cow is pissed. And it's,
even animals that don't really care are still making noise.
Yeah, they're still loud. You hear them stomping around and hitting things and just making their general animal noises.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be suspenseful if they didn't have to be super quiet. Because if the dinosaurs were all loud, they could stomp around and do whatever they wanted. Nobody would hear them. Mm-hmm. And also, there weren't enough guards. I'm sorry. Where's everybody?
They were all at the mandatory office meeting where he was laying out the plans for Jurassic Park San Diego.
Because, like, not all those cages needed to be cut. Like, only a few had padlocks. The other ones, they just lifted up the metal thing and it popped open. I'm like, that's it?
They don't have fingers, I guess.
Again, it's things where if you just kind of took the script and just took a little bit more time with it.
Yeah.
But we must keep moving. Because it does slow down in the middle. It kind of screeches it kind of chills just a little once they're all together. But pretty much up into the trailer scene, the cliff scene, it is nonstop go. Yeah.
I didn't really even think about it. You mentioned that's the last time we see the Stegosaurus. Is that the last time we see any herbivores?
It's the only dinosaurs we see after this until the very last scene when they're back on the island is Rex and raptors.
And compies.
Compies, yeah. Never have the little compies. Yeah.
Dieter still needs to die, so.
Yeah, I would say, but even once Dieter dies, then no more compies.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Well, the budget.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Pierre. The budget ran out for you. Goodbye.
I did read it was like 70-something million for the budget. And I was like, that seems
very small. Very small.
Like, even for the time, I feel like that's very small.
I wonder if it's because, again, maybe because they filmed on location. It doesn't cost a lot it costs less to build things like the vehicles and everything. And they re-rendered the special effects from the first movie.
It could be. Yeah.
Well, and they also, I think, used Stan Winston's School of Arts again to do all that. So maybe they had rendered a bunch of stuff already. So.
And they did reuse some of the animatronics too, because they had to have 2 T-Rexes, but one of them they made new skin for, because it's latex skin, which kind of deteriorates.
Mm-hmm. Especially the first one was in the rain so much.
Yeah. So they had the skeleton. They just built a new skin for it.
Yeah. Well, like, why not reuse it? Like,
yeah,
it's already perfect. Yeah.
I should mention too, I don't think we talked about it. I said I was going to look it up when we were talking about the book. The timeline for this happened. He was not originally intending to write a sequel. It was after the movie came out. People wanted a sequel, and Spielberg said that he could potentially make one if Crichton wrote another book. And Crichton was originally not big on the idea because he never wrote sequels. Apparently this is the only sequel he ever wrote.
It is.
But he eventually decided, okay, we'll do a sequel just to help the movie go along.
That's why it's not very good.
And he wrote it quickly. So
it all makes much more sense now. I still don't forgive him for this book. But that makes a lot more sense. Because it did not come out very long after, like 2 years.
Mm-hmm. I think it was 95 when the book was released.
Yeah, the book.
And they were already in like pre-production on the movie by the time the book came out.
And that would also explain Ian Malcolm's miraculous recovery. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense though, because once you reread this, you're gonna be like, that is not very much like the first book. Mm-hmm. But I could be wrong. You might actually love it. While I just was like,
We'll see.
Well, we'll see. We'll have fun talking about that. But even so, that he rushed this book out to make this sequel, they're not that similar.
Yeah, from what I read, they basically took some ideas from the book, but it's a very loose adaptation.
Like the closest thing is the trailer scene.
Okay.
And that
is one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the whole scene with Sarah falling and landing on the glass.
That is such a great scene.
It's such a great shot. Like, that cinematography is just great. Mm-hmm. I will say I had to laugh when I was watching it last night because when the Rexes are attacking the trailer, we never see them attacking the trailer.
I thought that too.
I'm like, we see them through the windows, which is the robots, because they look so good. Uh-huh. And they saved all their money for Eddie. Because I'm like, wait, this is all taking place inside the trailer. It's cool because like we get that POV.
It totally works, but every time we saw it from the outside, I did think, where's the T-Rex?
Yeah, like they would show the vehicle getting shoved through the mud toward the cliff, and I'm like, so is she behind? Are they working together? Like, do they both have
headbutting?
Yeah, are they both have their heads down and they're pushing it over? They can't use their arms; they're too tiny. And I'm like, we're never going to see this, are we?
Nope.
Nope. Like I said, that $70 million budget only went so far, and they still have to make Raptors.
Uh-huh.
But, I mean,
the way they shot it, it did work. I have seen movies where they have tried to shoot around things to save money.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so obvious. But because so much of this was inside the trailers, first time I watched it, did not notice. It's only now, years later, that I'm thinking about these things.
Well, and that's because it's such a good scene, because I'm sure they probably use stunt doubles, but it's also enclosed. It's very claustrophobic. Everything's falling. Things are turning. They're getting flipped all over. You know, stuff's breaking. She falls onto the glass. They got to try to climb down to get to her. You know, they're in a very confined area, and they have nothing to work with. Because you're like, well, I need rope. Where the hell's the rope? I don't know. We haven't been in these trailers long enough to find anything. We haven't even had a lunch, you know, because everything keeps going. And, you know,
when
don't...
Eddie arrives, they try to order cheeseburgers.
Right. I would too. It's like, it's been a long day. But yeah, the only thing I will say is when Eddie does show up and the trailer's hanging, I really wish the ground, because it's raining, I wish there would have been Rex prints everywhere. But then Eddie asks them, he says, what did this? And I feel like that's why he died, because they don't tell him.
Oh.
Yeah. They don't say the Rexes. Like, I'm sure he probably would have figured it out, because what else is big enough to do this other than like a giant herbivore? But he says, what did this? And they don't say Tyrannosaurs, because then he probably have been like, which he does get to that point where he gets paranoid when he's tying the rope up to stop it. You can tell he's kind of looking around. But they don't specifically say the T-Rexes came back.
That's true.
Because he doesn't see them come back. They see them leave. And then he goes to check on them. So he doesn't know that they somehow magically circled back without them seeing him. Again, that bippity-boppity-boo dinosaur teleportation magic. But, you know, if he would have looked down at one point and seen all these Rex prints and been like, oh, you know, that's what did it. Because when they show back up again, he's just like, oh.
That is true. However, I don't think he would have just abandoned them.
No, he would have been maybe a little bit more like, he would have made sure that gun was up there. But poor Eddie. Rip Eddie.
Yeah. Yeah, up until Jurassic World, he had the worst death in the franchise. And even then, it's still kind of the worst, because even though the person who now owns the title of the worst death died in the worst way, I didn't care about her that much. It's still worse for Eddie, because I actually liked him.
I think the only reason people talk about her death so much is because it's so out of the blue and random.
Yes, like, and it was like the first woman.
Yeah, it was just like, why is this so...
It's so weird. Like, for the entire franchise, they stayed away from killing any women.
Well, it's because there's hardly any in the movie.
That's true, but it seemed like...
You only got one per movie.
It almost seemed purposely like we're never going to kill a woman. But then when they do decide to kill one, they do it in the most horrific way possible.
Right. Like, and it's so overdone. And I think also, like, most of the dinosaur deaths are quick.
Yes, and hers was not. That's what made it so awful. It was so prolonged.
Yeah, and you're like, is this ever going to end? Like, I don't even care that she's dying. I just want this scene to move on. Of course, that's the point in that movie where you lose me and I'm just done with it anyway. But yeah, it's just redonkulous. Like, why? I mean, now, granted, if they would have gave Nedry the death in the book, nothing would have ever topped that.
Yeah.
But yeah, then, Eddie. All because Owen brought that damn little dinosaur home.
Yeah. None of that would have happened. They would have all been fine if he hadn't rescued that thing.
Well, what's really funny is in the scene after this when Roland and his group roll up and save them, if they would have left them and continued on their way, they would have been fine. They would have got off the island, no problem. Because the only reason everything goes to shit is because of Sarah and her damn jacket.
I don't think I'd thought this through completely, but you could be right.
This was just me when I was watching it, because I had it on last night while I was cleaning an aquarium, so I was paying attention while I was doing water change. And I'm just like, they could have saved themselves the trouble and just left them there. But again, that's because Roland's not an asshole.
Well, technically it all started because he broke the baby dinosaur's leg.
Right,
so.
That's true.
I mean, if you keep going backwards, it does lead back to him.
Yes. But, yeah.
But then if you keep going backwards, Ludlow brought everybody there to begin
Yeah.
with, so
And it's all Hammond's fault, really.
that's true. He's the ultimate villain.
He is the ultimate villain.
He didn't mean to be, but he is.
Yep. But I do like when they're trying to save that little T-Rex and it's trying to bite him. And then their phone's ringing and she tells him to spit his gum out and he spits in her hand.
Your gum.
Your gum.
Wipe.
And then when Ian comes running in and he's like, would it kill you to answer the phone?
And then he has one of my favorite, most quoted lines. Mommy's very angry.
Uh-huh. Well, and then when they open the door to let the baby Rex out, she goes all the way out with
That,
that
I
thing.
thought that too. I was like, why are you stepping outside?
And then she laughs like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. I'm like, bitch, if you die right now, I'm not going to care. You're going to get everyone killed. You are not a professional. What are you doing? Like, I would have opened the door and chucked that thing out.
Me too.
And then I would
I'm
have...
sorry. I like the baby dinosaur, but I'm not preserving it
No.
over me getting chomped.
No, this isn't like rescuing a kitten or a puppy or even a calf. Like, these things are going to eat you. They're very big. Or even, I probably would have put it out, opened a window, dropped it out, and been like,
Yeah.
here, take it, go. Yeah, it's just, my goodness. I mean, it leads to a great scene, so.
It does. It is like my favorite scene, but
It's just one of those
people's
things.
actions up until that point are very questionable.
You're just like one thing after another. Again, it's that horror movie thing where people weren't making stupid decisions. You wouldn't have an entertaining movie.
Yeah.
If everybody was smart, it wouldn't.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be like screaming at the TV or rooting for someone to die.
Yeah, like you said, the InGen crew comes and rescues them, sort of. I guess they pull them up and bring them with them. And there was another line in here that, well, first they say they're going to like an abandoned InGen base to call for help because none of them have communication equipment anymore because they destroyed them all with the dinosaurs, letting them free on the tents.
And I think there is one satellite phone, but they can't get it to work.
But then when they're leaving, Roland, he comes up and he's like getting everybody ready. He's like, saddle up, let's get this movable feast underway.
Well, and then he makes that kind of comment about how the Rexes won't follow because they just ate. I'm like, oh, Eddie. And they're like, you're heartless. And he's just like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have time. But again, like, the scene is so great because it's so muddy and rainy and you feel it. Like, again, though, imagine a bunch of Rex prints.
That would have been
That would
really
have
cool.
looked so cool.
You wouldn't even have to focus on them just so that
No.
they're there.
Yeah, they're just there.
Yeah.
Because whenever we see a Rex print, it's always just one print.
That's true.
Where are the other prints at? He's
Yeah.
not walking on one foot. Like, I know he's got big strides and everything, but come on, we had 2 Rexes out here supposedly pushing these trailers over with either their heads or their tiny arms. Or maybe they backed up and used their tails. I don't know. We don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
And it's like I wish there would have been it would have been just so much more submersive to have a bunch of prints everywhere. Especially if you could see where they were going. So you're like, all right, they went that way.
Yeah.
So we're not. We're gonna go this way because they clearly went that way. But then Roland knows where the nest is, so he knows exactly where they went since he stole the baby.
That's true, but then there's the question of whether or not they're going to, and I don't even know how much of this is true because most of this is coming from Burke talking about them, like, since the baby was brought here, they're seeing this as their territory and maybe they're going to move and then they need to go this way and get away from them so that the T-Rexes won't follow, which turns out to be wrong. Again, Burke doesn't know what he's talking about, which, how could he?
Right. I mean, the only reason the Rexes even do follow them is because of her jacket.
Or revenge.
Or revenge. True. Very true. I bet they got out of that trailer when we pushed it over the edge. Let's go back and see. They did get out. We should have stayed longer. I told you, Steven.
Even if they were following her jacket, I still feel like they would have still tried to hunt them down because they seem to have a thing out for humans.
Well,
like, they have a vendetta.
All animals in movies have revenge tactics. Like, You know, I know they say that sometimes with like tigers or bears or jaguars, like they've said that they'll hunt people.
I've heard of elephants even doing that.
Yeah.
There was a story I read about some woman who was mean to an elephant and it killed her, and then it came back for her funeral and trampled her corpse.
I dance on your grave. That'd be me. I'd be like, you thought I'd let it go? I'm back. So, I mean, it is possible that these animals would be like, hey, I think there's more. Let's go get the rest of them. But I'm going to stay with the theory that it purely smelled her jacket. And those Rexes were like, I thought we got our baby back. He's over there. But he's...
I mean, that probably had a big thing to do with it because it was the baby's blood.
Yeah, and it sticks its head in there and it licks the jacket. Again, that damn tongue. You know, and it's just... And I'm like, Sarah...
Why didn't you abandon the jacket?
You should have put it like in the river going the opposite way, and then they would have gone after it or something. But then we wouldn't have the super fun scene of everybody running.
Yeah, and getting stepped on.
Mm-hmm. And both the Rexes are there. I used to think it was just the one, but when you look, you see the second one in the background.
Yeah, they're both there because the one is going after the one group and the other... Like, this is the point where they kind of split off into two groups. One group ends up in the waterfall. The other group is the one that ends up going into the long grass. Yep. So, yes, both T-Rexes are there. And one of them is... I don't know if he's hunting the male or the female, but Roland is hunting one of them.
Yeah, like I said, without having any kind of... Without knowing the difference...
Yeah.
Between the two.
It's too hard to tell.
There's no way you can tell. All you can do is guess. Like, that one. Mm-hmm. That looks like a boy. I don't know. It's dinosaur.
Yeah, this is another instance of something where just extend the scene a little bit. Just give something more to help clarify what's happening. Because there's another thing in this scene that never clicked through to me until watching it and making my notes. Because I was double checking things on Wikipedia. Mm-hmm. The scene where Roland goes to trank the T-Rex, he pulls out something and he's like upset about something.
They stole the bullets.
Yes, and it did not ever click in my mind that this was because Nick stole the bullets and he replaced it with trank. So that's all he has is a tranquilizer. Because he was going to kill this dinosaur.
Yes, he's like, hey, here's my shot.
In my mind, he planned to trank it. It didn't click until this watch that he was planning to kill the dinosaur.
Yeah, because when they're headed back on the helicopter, Owen pulls the bullets out of his pocket.
I never connected those two scenes.
But you know what I connected? You cannot just put a tranquilizer dart in a gun that fires bullets and expect it to react the same way.
That's probably true. I didn't even... I don't know enough about the difference. I don't know what he had with him.
Unless he had both.
He probably did.
He seems like the kind of guy who would have both. Like, he had, like, his hunting rifle with him, and then he probably had, like, the tranquilizer gun with him, too. Because I'm like, you can't swap.
Yeah.
You can't swap. Like, bullets are fired a completely different way. Because when they fire those tranquilizer guns, it's just a... Mm-hmm. You know, it's like they should have had, like, the things from Indiana Jones where they have the darts and the things, and they just blow it out. Like, that's kind of what they reminded me of.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, so then we get the two groups... First, we already talked about Mr. Burke getting eaten.
And Dieter at some point.
Yeah.
I think before this
he like goes to take a piss and...
He goes to the ladies' room.
It is before that. It's before they all take a nap. Then they go into the long grass, which is like such a great scene.
I love that line. Don't go into the long grass.
You know, and you see like the overhead shot of like the raptors coming.
I love that shot so much.
It's such a great shot. And it shows that the Rexes didn't follow because they probably know this is the raptor territory line, which Rexes probably wouldn't have to worry about raptors just that much. But being a predator, it's like, all right, well, we don't hunt here because they hunt here, and we're not extending into their territory. Mm-hmm. So, and also CGI budget effects, so focusing on a new dinosaur now. And like, again, that the whole scene with the raptors in the long grass, the CGI is just top notch. When the raptor jumps out of the grass and tackles that guy, you're just like, that looks great.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it looks so good. You know, and they look different from the raptors in the first movie. Mm-hmm. You know, they're just different enough. You could tell they kind of perfected how they should look a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But they still look the same. It's not like future raptors where you're like, is it the same?
I can't remember exactly what it was, but apparently like an early draft of the script had something about super raptors, but they eventually decided that would be too silly.
Once we talk about the book, we can talk more about...
Oh, is that in the book?
No, not necessarily, but it's the raptors there's something going on with them in the book, and when we get there, we can talk about it. They're not super, though. They're not super duper. They're just something's going on that makes them not like normal raptors.
Interesting.
Yeah. It actually is like the most interesting part of the book. But maybe they were like, well, normal raptors aren't cool enough, so we need to make them bigger and better. You know, like the Jurassic World movies. And then somebody with a brain was like, you know what? We don't have to. People love them either way. Yeah. And we do. Mm-hmm. And they look great, like when they're fighting in the mud and everything. Mm-hmm. It's just like, oh, they look good. Or then they're on the roof. And
I love that whole scene. Once they get to the abandoned InGen base, I love everything about that scene. That's one of my favorite raptor scenes. It's not quite as good as the raptors in the kitchen, but it's right up there for me.
Yeah, it's more action than suspense.
Yeah.
Well, and then Ian runs in, shuts the door, and the raptor just jumps through the damn window. Like, I don't need a door. These raptors don't need to open doors.
No.
They just go through the wall or dig underneath or come through the roof. Like, we got other ways of doing this.
Yeah.
Which is very reminiscent to the first book when the raptors are constantly crawling on the roof and they're going up the walls and going through windows. Like, it is very kind of like that, too. It reminded me a lot of the first book. And then, of course, the scene you like.
Well, right before that, the scene where they're digging, like the raptor's digging under the door and they start digging out the back. And even at that point, I was like, is this the best course of action? Like, I know they're trapped, but like, I don't know. Like, it seemed like they should have known that the raptor was going to figure out what they're doing sooner than what happened.
Well, and the thing that got to me, too, I'm like, how well are these buildings built? Like,
They looked like shacks.
Yeah, because I'm like, I know that, like, you can put up, like, pole buildings and stuff, but I'm pretty sure they go into the ground a little bit. You shouldn't be able to dig under the wall.
No, yeah. They seemed like they were kind of just thrown together. And maybe at one point there was a wall around this compound.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It did not seem like they built them to be dinosaur-proof.
Or wind-proof. I'm like, a good wind is going to take that building down or something. But we wouldn't have got the jump scare, which is a good jump scare.
Yeah.
When she's like, here, child, sacrifice yourself. The raptors clearly must have eye problems because he dives at the opposites, right next to her head instead of grabbing her by her head. Because I'm like, they must have just gone for it at the same time. And the raptor's like, I'm going to go for it. As they go for it, and they just miss each other. Because otherwise he would have chomped her head. But we can't have that because we like Kelly.
Yeah.
She's not Lex in the first book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Book Lex.
Book Lex. But again, it's all very well done. They're on a set. The raptors are mostly CGI, but some of it is puppets and the animatronics.
It's enough of a mix that it reads more real than just full CGI the whole time. And
while it is dark, this isn't that annoying dark that you can't see what's going on. Yes. You can see everything playing. You can see it well enough. Like they're filming in the dark, so the CGI and stuff doesn't have to be quite as crisp, but it's not like modern movies where they have dark scenes and you're like, what? Like season 7 or 8 of Game of Thrones.
I know a lot of people talk like it's a bad thing in old movies where they film during the day and then put a dark filter over it so it looks darker. But I'm like, sometimes these days I almost would prefer that with how dark they make certain scenes. Yeah. Because I can't tell what's going on. Right.
Like this, it could have been completely pitch black and the raptor could have just been a shadow. But you see them there. Mm-hmm. It looks great. Like, and they still look good.
Yeah.
They don't stand out like a sore thumb. Like, do they stand out? You could tell it's CGI, yes. The coloring and the shadowing could be better. Mm-hmm. But for what it is compared to what they make now, give them the Oscar. It looks great. Mm-hmm. And again, it's dark and it's raining, but you can still see everything clearly. You can see that raptor. You're not like fiddling with your TV to turn the brightness up so you can see.
Yeah, no, sometimes when I'm watching a movie and if I'm on my laptop, I'm just hitting the brightness button until I can't hit it anymore.
Just tilting the screen back like, I can't see this. What's happening? And then you see it and you're like, oh, never mind. Clearly, I wasn't meant to see this.
This is why it was so dark.
It's like they shouldn't even have filmed this scene then. But again, then they're rescued.
It's very quick.
And the raptors are gone.
Where'd they go?
Like, I didn't see, like it would have been better if they would have had, like, flash bombs or something to, like, scare them off, but...
Yeah. Maybe they're scared of the helicopters, but still, you would have think that there would be...
I mean, I can see that, like, a helicopter coming down and them being like, that ain't no pterodon. What the... That's loud and it's windy and it's scary looking, it's bright, but still, where did they go?
They're hiding behind another building waiting to jump out again.
Oh,
I don't know.
There is a quote from Jeff Goldblum, which... I don't like the scene with her in the gymnastics, but when he does say to her, "The school cut you from the team,"
Yes.
I mean, it's such a dad thing. Like that's that chemistry between them when he grabs her by the shoulders and he's like, "The school cut you from the team?" Like, come on, like you just saved all of us right now.
I don't know if that was because, like she said at the beginning of the movie, the school cut her from the team. So I'm wondering if she told him that because she dropped out and didn't want to tell him that she dropped out?
No, she seemed pretty pissed that he didn't already know that. Like, he should have already known.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, she was mad at him that he didn't know. Which,
yeah.
It's not all his fault. Like, why didn't your mom tell her ex, your dad, that you got cut from the team?
I don't really know what was going on with her mom because there was a line about her dumping her there and splitting for Paris.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Ian is into women who are very free spirits and they go and do what they want. Because Kelly's kind of like that too.
Yeah.
So it kind of is like this is terrible. You've never watched Twilight. It's totally a Twilight situation where I'm going to go live with my dad because my mom's new boyfriend is on the road because he's a famous baseball player. That's kind of the thing that got me. Like, I met a new guy and I'm going to Paris and here, go stay with your dad. But...
So was the line meant to say that the mom permanently abandoned her, or was this just a vacation on a whim? I
got the feeling it was probably just like you take the kid for a few weeks or something.
Okay.
Because it wasn't I'm moving in. It was your mom dumped you here while she goes on. Like I said, my headcanon is she's got a new boyfriend. They want to go to Paris for a couple weeks. Okay. And be together. So here
that does make sense because I think if it was a full abandonment, Kelly would have been a lot more traumatized.
Well,
and sad.
She's older, so like she could have just moved into her dad's apartment and been fine on her own. Because when she shows up, she just has a bag and she's really happy to see him. Like she's not like crying, like mom left me.
Yeah,
it's more like, hey, I got to stay with my dad, who sometimes I like and sometimes I don't. Who's way too easy on me. Well, not anymore. And then, we get the helicopter scene where they see that they got the Rex. Somehow they had an extra thing to put him in. And Owen takes the bullets out of his pocket. And I'm like, those are awfully small. Like, like they should have had, like, elephant bullets. But, details.
Well, that could have been the end of the movie. I think at one point it was the end of the movie, but then they decided they needed a new scene. Have the dinosaurs go on a rampage.
I think somebody said that this was just them having fun.
What I read was they went back and forth on whether or not to bring them to the mainland because it is silly. And I think it was not a last minute decision, but a next to the last minute decision to add this scene in. Because they went back and forth as to whether or not to have it. And I do like the scene. I know a lot of people don't.
Mm-hmm. Well, because it is such a juxtaposition to the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it feels like a different movie.
But I like it. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's just... And again, it happens at night because there's no way this scene could take place during the day. Though I will say there are a shockingly large amount of people out on the street in Los Angeles at night.
That is true.
Like when the Rex is like chasing people, including those poor Japanese men because Godzilla...
I obviously I don't speak Japanese, but apparently they're saying something about like this is why I left Japan.
I can get behind that. But like, and then of course, we got the Rex going after the bus, which I actually love. I actually love that because totally that Rex saw that as like a sauropod or something and was like, I know how to kill that. And then it just keeps driving and it's like sharp and he's like, okay, maybe I don't. And then it crashes into the Blockbuster, and I think there's a poster for Speed or something.
There's a bunch of movie posters in there, and I don't know for sure, but I think I read that some of them are for fake movies.
Oh, that wouldn't surprise me.
I could be wrong, but I feel like there could be like one that's for a Robin Williams movie that doesn't exist.
Though I do love that we crash into a Blockbuster, because that is literally where everybody used to go on the weeknights. Now let's go to the Blockbuster or the movie video place and get a movie to watch. It's just like, oh, nostalgia. And then and this is the part of the movie that, so the Rex gets loose and eats everybody on the boat.
That's that's another part that I don't understand, because how did it eat everybody on the boat? Because like they go into the main the main hull of the ship, and like there's a hand. There's hands everywhere. That was one of the most disturbing things when I was a kid, because I remember that scene from long before I ever watched the movie. This was on TV at some point, and I turned on the TV and saw that scene and was traumatized.
Yeah, it's like there's just hands everywhere. I did read a YouTube comment where somebody thought maybe the original plan was to maybe have a raptor on board.
That would make more sense.
And it would play into the first book.
Yeah, that would make more sense, but they don't. So
No.
I don't really understand how the T-Rex caused that much carnage in a room that was small enough that he couldn't even fit in.
And that's why hearing that this was a last-minute decision makes sense, because they didn't... Because the T-Rex ain't getting in there.
No.
Not without ripping the whole thing to pieces, and it wasn't... The windows and everything were still, still together.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it would have made a lot better sense if there would have been a raptor on board. Mm-hmm. But even then, depending on the raptor, would it have killed everybody on the ship?
But also... How even is a hand still gripping the steering wheel or whatever that was?
And the control panel.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't make sense.
No.
I don't care that much, but it doesn't make sense.
And it's not supposed to make sense. It's just supposed to be fun. Cartoon. We're watching a cartoon.
Yeah. It wasn't fun for me as a kid, because I saw that when I was a kid and was traumatized. But I did like the whole movie when I was a teenager later on.
I will say this scene with the little boy who wakes up and there's a dinosaur outside his room was very... I
love that scene.
I do too. And I'm willing to bet you probably never read any R.L. Stine books, but it was such a R.L. Stine moment. 'Cause I'm pretty sure I have a just memory of reading a couple books about dinosaurs as a kid. And I don't know if one was R.L. Stine or an equivalent to R.L. Stine. It was such a kid book moment. Like you wake up in the middle of the night and there's a dinosaur outside your window.
There's a dinosaur in the backyard.
And then it eats the dog.
Normally I prefer movies not to kill the pets, but for that scene, it just makes me laugh.
Well, and
the dinosaur pops his head up and there's a dog house hanging off a chain in its mouth.
I mean, and they set it up because they say they overdose the dinosaur, so it's going to be thirsty and hungry. So they straight up say it's going to be kind of on a rampage.
Basically, yes, it is on a rampage.
Yeah, and it does get water, and then it eats a dog, and then it eats a guy, and
which apparently that was David Koepp. Apparently there was a lot of people on the crew that were in those scenes.
Well, that's the easiest way to do it. You get
and he wrote himself to be the guy who got eaten. He wanted to
honestly,
die.
if you were going to be an extra, you're going to run and you're like, could I die? Could the Rex eat me? That would be awesome. And plus then you don't have to pay extras and you get your, watching it with your family. That's me.
That's me making those horrifying guttural noises.
Those noises bugged me.
On.
Again, that's a cartoon noise. That is such,
it is.
It's a very cartoon noise. It should have been not that we need to scare people, but it should have been high-pitched screaming, not I'm like, oh, what cartoon is this?
Yeah.
And then they go to that stupid pre-built Jurassic Park set. Which one is too small? I mean, kudos to them for building something. You can tell they built this and drove into it. There's no guards. That baby Rex is in a cage. It's not locked. There's no guards.
I don't know if the theme park was set up to be fully functional anytime soon.
No, it wasn't. But just the fact that the Rex is in a cage and there's no one guarding it and it's not locked. They just open it up.
Well, Ludlow is not the brightest bulb in the shed.
Well, apparently none of them are, because I'm like, oh yeah, that was surprisingly easy. And again, we got to keep this movie rolling.
We haven't really talked about Ludlow much. He's here for the whole movie, but he's just kind of dumb, and everyone doesn't do what he says because he doesn't say anything worth following.
Well, and he's so generic that he blends in so well that you forget he's there.
Yeah.
He's just another guy who's trying to boss people around. It just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just there. Like, I think half the time I forget he's in the movie, and when the end comes...
I do too. Until he's on screen, he is not a thought in my head.
No, and even at the end when he chases them down, I'm like, who's that? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. That's that guy. I remember now, because he's just so forgettable.
My favorite scene with him is my favorite scene, not because of him, but because of Ian. Because it's when they're watching the adult escape and go on his rampage. Ludlow is just watching, like,
And shocked.
like,
Yeah.
what's happening? Ian comes up behind him. Now you're John Hammond.
Yep. He's like,
I love that line.
yeah, he's like, congrats. Now you're your uncle.
Uh-huh.
Like, you did it. Good job. Mm-hmm. Like, we have this giant dinosaur loose on the city. And it's such a great shot of the Rex roaring. I mean, it's so over the top, but I don't care. But the only thing that always got me is all the people who are in that building as the Rex walk by. None of them notice. None of them heard the boat crash on the dock. I'm like, I know.
Yeah, that's true.
I know people, especially in big cities like that, are very focused on themselves, but come on. Mm-hmm. Come on, really? Come on, guys. I mean, I appreciate what they're trying to do. It just doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. It'd look better if everybody was like plastered to the glass. Like, oh my God, you seeing this? That's a dinosaur.
Yeah, that would be my reaction.
Mm-hmm. I'd probably cry. Oh no.
Of fear or joy?
Both. Simultaneously, both.
And then, of course, after the rampage, you have the scene where they get the baby back to the ship.
That whole chase scene is fun.
Yeah, the car. Chasing of the car. Yeah, I did like that scene.
I do think he was driving too fast, though.
That was another scene where I questioned Sarah because she was so nonchalant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's just a little too chill.
Yeah.
Like, ma'am, I think Ian's right here to be a little bit... I mean, he's driving too fast. That Rex can run, but not forever. Mm-hmm. Especially if she's hungry and tired. But also, like, just let him drive. It's fine. Yeah, and then they get back to the boat.
And for whatever reason, Ludlow still hasn't learned his lesson. He wants them to kill the adult so he can keep the baby.
Yeah. I'm like, again, this is a cartoon villain.
It is. It really is.
Because there's just, the motivation doesn't make sense. Like, kill it. So they showed, like, the guy in the helicopter with, like, his little gun. I know it's not a little gun, but a gun. And I'm like, that's not going to kill it. That's a normal bullet for people. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't always kill people.
Yeah.
You think it's going to kill that Rex? Mm-hmm. I mean, they act like it's such a big deal to trank the Rex, once all this rolls through, before the LAPD can shoot it. And I'm like, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Mm-hmm. It's fine.
But Ludlow's not going to be fine.
No.
This is another thing where if you think of it as a cartoon, it's fine. But like his reaction to this is just so dumb. Like he goes after the baby, and the father or mother, I think it's the father, is like
the parent.
The parent is like using him, like, oh, here, baby, you can learn how to hunt with this guy.
Let's learn how to hunt today.
And he's just like, wait. I
know.
I'm like, why are you telling it to wait? Like, what is that gonna do?
Why are you talking to it? Like, why'd you even go down there? What were you gonna do?
Uh-huh.
Like, especially once the baby has the muzzle off, like, what were you gonna do? Grab it? It's gonna bite you.
Yeah.
It's gonna scratch you.
Ludlow makes no sense.
No. I do like the Rex, though. He's such a proud parent. Like, you'd kill that man. Good job, son. Or daughter. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I taught you good.
It's not like it makes a facial expression. There's just something about the way it holds its head that you can just tell.
It just says that little head tilt. Any animal does a head tilt. And you're like, aw, tilted his head. The Rex tilts his head. And you're just like, oh. This guy gets brutally mauled and eaten by a baby. But you're still like, oh, good job. Good job, parent. You teach him. When we get back to the mainland, you'll be hunting dinosaurs yourself. Yeah, it's just, I do like it though when Ian and Sarah dump the baby down the hold and then they jump over the side of the ship. That's the smartest thing that she has done. Ian, I can totally believe. But the smartest thing they've done is they're like, we need, and then they swim back around once the Rex is on, so he can go back on the ship and go up there and close the thing. But it's like the second Ludlow, the second he sees him jump overboard, he's just like, oh, I'm not going to take the hint. I'm just going to go down into this hold. I'm like, sir, you were a cartoon.
Did you want to die? Because you're going to get your wish.
Right. Like, you don't need to go down there and get the baby. You have a whole island. Just jump off the side of the boat and just go back and get it later. Like, they're not all dead. They don't firebomb this island like in the first book. Like, you can just go get it later. Or if you would have known that they were going to trank the adult once it was in the hold, go get it then.
That's true, actually. That would have made a lot more sense.
Just go get it then. I mean, I don't know if them tranking it knocked it all the way out or if it just made it chill out enough that it stopped trying to get out. But then somebody had to get on the boat and drive it back.
I wondered that too.
It's not remote control boat.
No.
So somebody had to volunteer and drive. But I mean, as long as you don't open the hold, they never do explain how it gets opened in the begin with.
I don't know.
I don't know if like the Rex was roaring because it breaks out of the container because they show the container, the cage they had it in. It broke out of it because you can see it all mangled. So I don't know if it makes sense that he would get that hold open though, because I would assume the Rex is strong, and if it's pissed, but then it's
one of those things where I have to stop myself from overthinking it.
You just go with it.
It doesn't make enough sense, but it makes enough sense, I guess.
It's fun. That's all that matters. It's fun, and the Rex looks great.
Yeah.
The CGI on the Rex is great. It looks awesome. So who cares? And we got to see some more people die, so that's fun too. And then it goes back to its mommy and its mate, and everything's living in peace.
And you finally get to see a pteranodon.
Squawking away.
That was one of my biggest, the first time I watched these, I was like, I want more flying creatures.
Oh, and then we get the third movie, and you're like, I don't want flying creatures.
These don't look the same, they're ugly.
And they're dumb. They're way too big. They're way too aggressive. It bothers me. Just like...
I did appreciate that they included them. I just wanted the ones from the end of The Lost World.
Yeah, they're just chilling, hanging out, doing their thing. And then, I guess we do see the Stegosaurus again, because they look over and they see the Rexes there. Which, I kind of appreciated that, because it's very much like an African safari situation where zebras walk by lions. Because usually if they're not on the hunt, they're, because they're stealth hunters. So usually if they're just laying about, most of the animals are like, we're going to kind of give you a round away. But usually if they're not like in the hunting position, they're not usually too worried about them. But I don't know. It's just a whole cartoony ending with all the dinosaurs living happily ever after before they blow the island up. Wait, they don't blow that one up. They blow the other one up.
Yeah, Easelsorn is still around.
Yeah, for now. But yeah, it's a solid sequel.
Yeah. Like I said, for the longest time, this is my favorite of all Jurassic
It's got a great soundtrack. The score is great. It's got such a fun score.
I love how it sounds similar to the first one, but it's its own thing.
Yeah, it kind of got that jungle beat to it.
Yeah.
But it's just a little bit different. And I mean, Ian, is he the Ian Malcolm from the first movie? I'd say he's he does a pretty good.
He seemed the same to me.
Yeah,
I like this character, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think what made him good is the relationship with his daughter.
Yes.
Because he's not going to be all chaos theory and, which he is, but he's got bigger things to worry about. He don't have time to be all Ian. He's got to be dad. And then his girlfriend, too. Like,
he has moments, like, now you're John Hammond.
Right. But his biggest focus in this movie is protecting his family.
Yeah.
Which, ironically, is also the Rex's motivation, is protect the family.
Which I think was on purpose.
Yep.
They're kind of doing a juxtaposition between the two.
Yep. Like, well, you're doing everything you can to protect your child and your mate, and that Rex is doing the exact same thing. So, And you both hate the same people.
Well, I think that is all we have to say about the movie. But we will be back to talk about the book. I need to read it first, and then we will discover the differences, because apparently there are a lot of them.
There's a lot.
Okay, well, thanks for doing this one, and we'll see you next time to talk about the book. Thanks for listening to Every Version Ever. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe and follow my co-hosts as well. All of our links will be in the description below. If you'd like more podcasts like this one, all of our shows are available on YouTube as well as most podcast platforms. If you'd like to support this show, check out Johncast Media on Patreon for everything here, plus bonus and extended episodes you won't find anywhere else. We'll be back soon with another brand new episode, so thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.